Hi everyone, welcome back to Say What You Mean, an English learning channel. I'm Chris. How are you today? I hope you are wonderful. I am excellent. Thank you for asking. Today's topic is the present perfect for experiences. The present perfect with ever, never, and before. Remember, we use two common forms in English to talk about the past. The simple past is for finished times, and the present perfect is for unfinished times. If this is your first video, please click this link to watch the video on the simple past first. And if you'd like to see the introduction to the present perfect, that link is right here. In this video, we'll look at present perfect for experiences. What are experiences? Experiences are things you have done or things you have lived through at some time in your life. So any time between birth, day one, and today. Some examples. Going to school is an experience. Eating in a restaurant is an experience. Going to summer camp or traveling to another country, those are both experiences. Learning a foreign language like English is an experience. Or spending time with your family. Things we have done and things we have lived through. So when we ask about or talk about experiences, we use the present perfect form because the present perfect connects the past to now. Okay, so let's give two question forms. So listen to the question form. First, have you ever been to Japan? Have you been to Japan before? So, why do we use the words ever or before? Well, these two words tell us that we mean any time in the person's life before today, before the current time. They help us ask about experiences. When we answer, we tell people which experiences we have had and which experiences we haven't had. We don't normally use ever in the yes answer. We use that in the question and in the no answer. So first, some yes examples. Yes, I have ever been to Japan. Wrong. Yes, I have been to Japan. Or yes, I've been to Japan before. With a no answer, we can add never to show that we haven't had the experience, not even one time. We can also use the negative verb haven't with ever. So listen again. No, I've never been to Japan. Or no, I haven't ever been to Japan. Now, a very important thing to remember. The present perfect is used with unfinished times. It is not used with finished times. So, if you want to say exactly when in the past you did something, last week, last month, last year, in 2022, for example, you need the simple past. The present perfect is for a general answer. Okay, so one more time, the link to the simple past video is right there. So now for some listening practice. Have you ever been to Japan? I've been before. I visited Japan on a few occasions, but I've never traveled to Russia, India, Vietnam, or Korea. I've also never flown to Australia or New Zealand. Have you ever been to any of those places? If so, what was it like? How was it? I've recently returned from a trip to Japan. We went to Mount Takao, a mountain in Japan. Have you heard of Mount Takao before? Have you ever been? There are a lot of mountains in Japan. Mount Fuji is probably the most famous. Have you ever been to Mount Fuji? Have you ever seen Mount Fuji? I've seen Mount Fuji a few times, but I've never hiked to the top. Have you ever gone hiking in Japan? Have you ever climbed to the top of Mount Fuji? What did you think? Does your country have mountains? If so, have you been hiking in them before? What was it like? I went to Japan for a number of reasons, but the big one is that I do a Japanese martial art. I've trained in my martial art for more than 15 years. Have you ever practiced a martial art? Have you traveled to a training event before? Another thing I like about Japan is the food. Have you ever eaten Japanese food? Have you tried yakisoba, stir-fried noodles, or karaage, Japanese fried chicken? Have you ever tried these foods before? Have you ever heard of them? What about natto, fermented soybeans? Have you ever eaten natto? I've tried it once, but I didn't particularly like it. Did you hear those key words, ever, never, and before? So, have you ever been to Japan? Have you eaten any of those Japanese foods? Let me know. Tell us in the comments. Okay, everyone, thanks so much for watching and listening. That's all for today's video. In this video, I used the present perfect with the keywords ever, never, and before. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. And if you'd like to book a class, my link is in the channel description. Remember, practice makes permanence. So listen carefully, practice hard, and say what you mean. Thanks, everyone, and goodbye.